night. It's 9 p.m. and we are back here on
How to Ace Your Career.
So guys, like you all know, we come here every Friday night at 9 p.m. to help you in some aspect so that you can ace your career, grow, do well. And this is especially meant for mid-age people with 12 to 15 plus years of experience. When they go through certain tough phases in their career, probably could be career stagnation where you're not getting the growth that you desire, or probably career transition where you're wanting to shift into a new role, or probably a transition in your life stage and you don't know how to balance the two together. All these different phases, and of course the most important thing is a toxic boss or a toxic work culture. These are the times when people come to people like us to help them sail through that situation and grow from there. So who am I? I'm Nutan. I'm a career and a life coach, and I've been coaching individuals, mid-age individuals, for the last 1 decade.
Yeah, I'm Dheeraj, and I'm a career coach, life coach, and also a business coach. And both together of us, we create this company called as ND Life Coaching.
So guys, today again, it's a wonderful topic that we come up with people who go through the career and may go through these kind of phases, which we are going to just talk about. But before I start the topic, I would want each one of you who knows someone who's gone through a gap in their career or taken a break, if you know someone, this is the right time to ping them and ask them to join this session, because I'm sure they'll gain a lot through what we are going to discuss today.
Absolutely right. This topic, for some people, it's very emotional. They get very sentimental. Some people actually lose their entire confidence in their life, and they lose the whole game of life, the game of career itself. That is why, after speaking to a lot of people, we realize there are many people out there who have taken this gap and not able to deal with it because somehow it is not giving the right emotions and they're all suffering. So we thought that why not come out with this and give those people out there that there is nothing to worry, there's nothing wrong one has done. So that's why we selected this topic, okay?
Where it is basically talking about employment gaps or the career breaks that we take. So we all know that our career spans approximately 40 or more. And during the journey, we may encounter unforeseen events like some family member falling sick and it needs immediate attention. And they are so close to you and they don't have help. By default, the onus lies on you. And that is the time when career becomes secondary. Especially this happens for women. Then some circumstances which are not unforeseen, they are foreseen. So basically, a woman trying to become a mother, and motherhood is a choice. For some women, they can balance both. But for some women, they may go through that phase where they don't have a choice, but they have to be home because they cannot travel, they cannot work, blah, blah, whatever the situation that they're going through. And they have to take this tough choice of taking a break in their career. It also happens for women generally when men take a leap in their career. So they're traveling abroad or to a new city, and the woman has to give up her job because she has to move with her husband and move with the family so that they can be together. So these are the various things that happen in a woman's life. In a man's life,
if they take a gap, okay, in a man's life, they take a gap between 6 to 12 months. Okay, some might them. There are some people who are so-called, so you might, develop also, new passions, gain new skills, or face redundancy due to emerging technology. Now that's happening a lot. Okay, these reasons are more create a gap in your career. This can create a lot of gap in your career. Now the issue is not the gap itself, but how do you reintegrate into the corporate world? So gap is not a problem. The problem that people are facing, they don't know how to reintegrate. And that's what we thought that we'll do this topic to help people that how can you get back.
Right? So if you have developed something new, or like I said, that when you touch 40s, you feel that you would want to experience something new. You're tired of what you're doing. Or probably you feel this is where you will really be able to perform better. And that is where you might take a choice of cutting down here what you've started and rebuild. And when you're rebuilding, by default, there's a gap because it's not easy to transit from one to the other. There are certain new skills you would have to learn, Or probably you were really great in what you were doing, but all of a sudden the need of that skill is only not there. And that is where you face redundancy. So when this happens, you're not left with a choice. You actually go through a career gap. That client went through, so many women who've gone through, and we've been able to
Absolutely.
help them to be able to reintegrate back into the corporate world. Now, in this case, if your gap is between 6 to 12 months, some people might suggest that cover it up with false information. So don't show that you exited from the previous company, not at that time, probably extend that, or probably your family members have organization and you work for them, some way that you cover up this gap. When you try to do this and you put up a false information, this actually leads to significant complications, because when you're sitting there in front of a person explaining what you did in those 12 months and that is not the truth, the minute you're probed with one or two questions, the person will realize that what you had written was not true, and that is where you lose all the chances to get back into the corporate world.
Now, why? The reason is you are not getting a job because you had a gap. You're not getting a job because somewhere you have given false information, and that's where your entire integrity, your entire character is where the question comes, and that's why people decide not to hire you, not because there was a gap. Okay?
And as human beings, even we expect that, right? For example, if we are going to meet someone for forming a relationship, and you get to know that on the first meeting that person has shared something which was not correct, the information wasn't right, the first judgment that you believe is he's not the person to be trusted.
Yep.
So we all do it. If we do that in a personal life, why do you feel that will not happen in your professional life? So don't do that. Just go out there and share that you have taken a career break. For longer gaps, like I said, motherhood,
Yep.
or nurturing the family, or probably, moving into a unknown place,
Yep.
with a new language, and you've shifted because your husband has moved there. That is where these longer gaps, like 5, 6, 10 plus years, happen for women. And when that happens, then the concerns are even bigger. The concern is now about, after so many years, will I really fit into this fast paced world? Because I've got used to this kind of life. Oh my God, I would have missed so much. Today I have to go and I have to learn with people or stay with people who are 10 years younger to me. And I'll have to do something what they are doing. What will happen when I'm sitting in them? I have to probably learn from people uh, who till yesterday I was their boss and they were reporting into me. And today I would be reporting into them. So when these kind of thoughts surface, that is where lot many complications in the mind come in. But despite these fears, you can make a comeback if you choose to. So the first most important thing is to make a choice that you have to come back, you want to come back into this corporate life, and all what comes around that, you will persevere till you really get the choice of job that you want to do.
So that's how we've come here. Now we're going to give you how to address these concerns. First thing, the most important step number one, embrace your employment gap.
Now, what does this mean? It means first you need to acknowledge your decision. Many a times women get into this mode of sorry, feeling sad, feeling hurt, feeling resentful, but they never understand that you can go there and proudly claim that I took this step for my family. I wanted to raise a child, I wanted to become a mother, and there is nothing wrong in that. Or probably you wanted to venture on your own. So what? It's not a big deal. It was a break, it was a courageous step. Maybe that didn't turn out into the right way if you ventured on your own and you have to come back into your corporate world. Maybe it wasn't the right decision. So what? Just own it up. Or you got laid off because of redundancy. So many organizations today, people are going through that. So there is nothing that makes you less competent than anyone else. In fact, these experiences only enrich our life. So first important thing is really be very proud of the decision that you have taken. Like for example, when I went through my career, and the first job that I got, a decent nice job where I was working for an NBFC as a branch manager, some things went wrong. My ignorance or my foolishness affected those decisions. And that is why when I was asked to put down my papers and I come back home, I decided I didn't want to continue this corporate world. Does anyone relate to this? That you went through this situation, and when you're asked that you cannot continue further, it really feels very humiliating. And I, as young as I was, I think probably I would be what, in my 25 or 26, I thought I've done enough and I'll venture on my own. I ventured on my own. I think it was 5 or 6 months, and I realized I'm not in the right space. I had to get back into the corporate world. But you know what? I owned that. And that is why I could get back to work life. And that is why I'm sharing with you today here confidently that you have taken that decision, just own it up. It doesn't make you less competent.
Once you've acknowledged your decision, you've owned it, now stay confident, because there's no shame or embarrassment of something like this. That I, even if you were laid off, there's nothing wrong in you. It's a company policy. Company is going through a tough time, so they take decision of laying off some people. It's not based on any personal. It's a process. It happens.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. That's something, Lord, you decide to venture on your own, or you had some family situation, or for females that motherhood has become the priority. You should be proud of that, that you did something. It's because of mothers like you, kids like us, and grown up in a way because our mothers and people like you do that. So no need to be embarrassed. No need to overshadow your achievement. Of course, whenever you work, there are certain achievements that you have. No need to overshadow that. Instead, you need to focus on one thing now, and that is preparing yourself thoroughly to get into the corporate world again. Because I believe there's nothing that beats planning and preparation. That's what all of us have always done. We planned and we prepared ourselves, and that's why we could get victory. So stay confident, go out there, prepare yourself, and go and get the job that you want.
Great. Now, once you have stayed in that state where you owned your decision, you're not feeling embarrassed, you're not losing your confidence because other people around you are telling, this is not the age, now you can't get back into the world, look at yourself, who will give you that job, all these kind of opinion about people around you. Please don't listen to them. 90% of them would have never worked in the corporate world, but they still feel they're capable to give you gyan. Gyan doesn't work. You believe in yourself. Then, of course, the next step is to assess and prepare. What do I mean by that? It's, of course, very important to know what's happening in the world now when you're coming back. So become aware of your industry. Stay updated with the industry trends. And then understand, is there a need to upskill? Am I doing this? And the skill set that I had 5 years back today are not relevant anymore. This happens with people who are already working. It might happen with you when you have taken a career gap. So go there, figure out, do your research, find the industry trends, and then try and upskill yourself. That's one way to prepare yourself.
Second way to prepare yourself is your mindset shift. Because if you've been had a, let's say, probably more than a year, then of course there is a huge mind shift, because the mindset has been not being in that speed or in that zone. So transitioning back to full-time work requires a change in mindset, because we all know that we are full-time working. It's a different mindset. When we had a gap of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. There are people gap of 9 years, 10 years. So then you will have to ensure that you get back into that mindset, which means you need to prepare to balance your personal expectation with professional demand. Because maybe probably all the mothers who are there, or all the females who take that decision that I'm going to support my husband, I'm going to support my family, so they go into a personal zone where their whole focus is, how do I fulfill my personal expectation? But when you're going to go back into the corporate world, your mindset should be that my priority is now going to be my professional work, and I'm going to give a lot of focus on that. So that mindset shift is very important.
So very important thing that Dheeraj has just shared, that I need to take charge, that now my priority is going to be work. That time the priority was family. I gave my best there. Now it is my professional life and I need to give my best there. So there's no need for women especially to feel guilty. When you're available 24 hours, 365 days, people have demand for 24 hours. And each time you're told, I've heard this from so many women who are making a comeback. When you get the job, no, tab dekh lenge. Abhi to ye kar lo. It never happens. The shift has to happen before, then you get a job. Then, of course, the third point is career reflection. Now, since you've taken a break, it's a beautiful time to use this to decide whether you want to continue. Maybe you are in a job which you were not really liking. So make a decision. Do you want to continue in your current field, or do you want to shift into something new? Research some potential career paths based on your strengths and the skills that you have, which you can use effectively to venture into a new career.
There's something I would like to add here.
Yes.
This is career reflection or a shift in your career. Like there was a data done worldwide with one of the most recruiting agency or a company, I would say. And it came to prove that 87% people are not engaged in their job. You know why they're not engaged? Because these are the people who never wanted to do what they are doing. It's by default. So I feel all the people out there who've taken a gap, they might be feeling I made a mistake. No, I feel you're lucky that now, and you have worked for 10 years, now you took a gap for 5, 6 years, now you exactly know what is work life all about, and you exactly are clear. So this could be an opportunity for that second chance that most of the people don't get. So don't lose that opportunity to make clear that I love this and I want to do my comeback in this.
And you know, Dheeraj, I believe that people abroad, I think, are more open to these kind of options.
Yes, yes.
In fact, we were going through one of the profiles today on LinkedIn, and we were so surprised that person started as a veterinary doctor, and after 8 years of his career, he chose to venture into absolutely different field, and that's IT. And today he's doing such a beautiful job there after 15 years. So imagine 8 years into something else, then he shifted his education, and today he's been 15 years there, and he's really grown very well. He has a beautiful job, a great position in a MNC, which is known worldwide. So, you know, it's a great time to decide, do I want to shift my career? The third step is to strengthen your skills. So sit and identify, and don't identify here. List down what are your strengths and the skills that align with your career goals. Maybe you want to continue in the same field, or maybe you want to venture into a different field. Both the situations, it's very important to do this. List your strengths and skills that align with your career goals.
Absolutely. And the next thing is, in the same part, upskill yourself. Now that's very important, because probably when you would have left the organization, you know, things would be very different. The requirement will be completely different. Today, you need some different skill set. So you need to focus on acquiring the necessary skills and technology knowledge for the path that you've chosen now. Do I have that in me? If not, then go out there and upskill.
So, you know, it's again a beautiful example. During COVID, we all learned to pay digitally, to buy digitally. Most of the people, even person like me, I think I had never shopped for myself online, but we got used to that pattern, right? Trying, returning, and we got used to buying, transferring money. We never wanted to do that before. Earlier, we were scared. So I think if we are open, then we can pick up any technology and use it in our favor. Now, next path is very, very crucial, because a shift in mindset, moving from personal to professional, really requires one very important thing, and that is a drive towards your career. That can happen when you have designed your future vision. So it's very important to sit and set goals where you see yourself in 1, 3, 5, or 10 years. When you're defining this, don't look at your current status and limit your vision, but really make it so big, so profound, that you are driven towards making that happen. So whenever challenges come across that path, whether it is demand from your loved ones, whether it is demand of upskilling yourself, whether it is going out there and, you know, facing all the rejections, the goal that you have set is going to let you go through that process very easily and smoothly.
Second, while designing your future vision, also be clear on your salary expectation. I'll tell you, there's a client of mine, he was 54 when he came to me. He had a break of 4 years. Okay, and everybody said, you know, when he went to a few of the coaches, they said, now you hardly have 4 years left, so to retire, so you better do something of your own. And he came to me, I said, of course you can get a job. You've worked for so many years. You have such a vast experience. You are like an SME. And then came the topic of salary. And he was saying, you know what, I think probably I need to ask half the salary because I've not worked for 4 years. I said, no. You need to aim for the salary, that trajectory that reflects your long-term goal. Okay, so it's very important that you're looking based on what level are you starting, what kind of role are you taking. I said all these years of experience have not disappeared. So you need to ask for the salary that's going in the market because you are going to do the same thing. So it's very important that when you come back after a few, let's say, or if it's a long gap, okay, you even can't do that. I had 10 years back that salary. You also need to be wise enough to check what is the starting point, and then based on that have salary expectations.
So I may start at something which probably I would have not been if I had not taken the career back, which is fine, because from here there is a trajectory where you can grow, right? So be realistic, but don't give up on your desires or your aim. You have to have an aim, but that may not happen today, but definitely keep that eyes on that goal, and that is how it will happen 1 year down the line. Then, of course, certain things that we would have planned when we were initially starting a career and somewhere we got lost with all what was happening, it's a great time to revive those dreams. If I had the money, I would do this. If I was working, I would have learned this. There would be some kind of dreams that you would have set aside because of what came in front of you. It's a great time to revisit and plan how to achieve those dreams that you had set aside because the priority became your personal life.
One of the most important thing all my life, and she's done, is visualization. Visualize success, which means imagine the positive impact of returning to work on your confidence and daily life. Like there's a female I'm coaching her, and she's been having a gap for 17 years because of motherhood. And when she came, she was so low, so depressed, because you lose the confidence. The kids are saying, "What do you know?" In-laws are saying, "What do you know?" Husband, everybody's saying the same thing. You don't know. तुमको कुछ नहीं मालूम, तुमको क्या मालूम, तुमको नौकरी छोड़े इतना साल हो गया. And today, it's been almost a year. She started her own small firm and she's doing so well. So well that more than the money, that she's really making some decent money, some good money, I would say. But more than that, the confidence that has come in her is huge. But what I did is I made her imagine, how is your life going to be when you earn that kind of money? And today only she came for the session. She was saying, I'm so happy that I could visualize that self. I could feel that confidence. Based on that, I approached the whole thing. And today, actually, that's happening with me, that I'm doing this business and I'm earning that kind of money. So when you visualize, it gives you a different level of confidence altogether.
And then, of course, build momentum. If it has been a long gap, your mindset is very passive. I wouldn't say that you don't exert when you're at home. There's a lot of exertion that happens, but mind is functioning in a very different way. If you want to trigger that mind, then make sure that you're doing physical exercise every single day. Your morning routine has to begin before you start applying for jobs. So incorporate that physical exercise into your daily life right in the morning before thinking of returning back to your career, and use all those mindset techniques into your routine in the morning. Don't miss that. Without that, you will not get the momentum that you need to break through the inertia that has been built because of this gap.
So I'm giving a very open offer to all those people out there who don't know what is mindset technique. Please reach out to, we'll give you free these techniques, because I know it makes a massive difference if you have that mindset technique with you. Now this,
in fact, it is just a 12 to 15 minutes effort that you need to go through, and there is nothing you need to do. Just listen and just,
yeah, it's a guided stuff.
Yes.
You just have to follow it and that's it. So we can give you free. We've created, we're using for so many years. So step 5, craft your CV and LinkedIn profile. I remember, I was always wanting to go to Japan to meet my mentor, and I kept saying that I want to go to Japan. I want to go to Japan. So one of my very good friends, she asked me, "Do you have a passport?" I said, "No." I said, "How will you go?" Which means you don't intend to go. If you want to go, you first will go and make a passport. And that's exactly how I realized, oh my God, I just want saying that I want to go to Japan, but I really don't intend, because so immediately I made a passport. I'm so happy. In a year's span, I went to Japan, I met my mentor. The same way, if you're looking out to change your job or looking out to get back into the work life, you definitely need to prepare a CV. And for that, honesty is the key. Clearly mention your employment gap and how you utilize that time. Highlight the skills and strengths that you have developed. That's the key, honesty.
So, if you've been home for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever number of years, remember, first, before you get back into the corporate world, Look at what you have really developed. Not necessary that skills are only acquired when you're working in your professional life. Skills are also you develop skills even when you're working at home. You would have become more planned, you could have become more organized, you would have learned the way of life, you would have learned new technologies. You can highlight all of that. There are certain things which you would have done just for learning when you are at home, and you are utilizing that time. So it is not completely a waste of time. So just put there, it was a career gap, but these are the skills and the strengths that I in fact asked my son also do this when he took a break of his career. Today, kids want to venture on their own, and I asked him to put that gap very clearly. There's nothing to feel bad, ashamed, or how to explain, and at the same time highlight the skills. And believe me, the company really took it so positively, and he got the job that he desired.
Yeah.
So that is the first thing. Second is very important to put a great narrative statement at the very beginning of your CV. That compelling narrative is what is something which will be seen by the person who's going to recruit you. So showcase your strengths and your goals. Tell them that your personal life was the priority. Today your priority is really to go out there and create. You want to use your skills and your strengths to create something for the organization, to help the organization grow, to be a great team leader. When you put these kind of narratives, that feeling, that passion gets conveyed in that one line. So even before meeting you, that person knows that you're hungry and you want to go out and there work there. I remember one of the CEOs that I had interviewed for an NBFC, he told me this, that we are actually looking out for women who have taken a career break, because I see them so more committed and so more hungry to prove themselves that they really work passionately. So don't miss this compelling narrative at the very beginning. Don't hesitate. Showcase your strengths, your goals. Your goals means what is the future that you want to live, build starting now.
Yeah. Step 6, network and prepare yourself for interview. Okay. So leverage connection, which means you have to inform your network about your intention to return to work and the roles that you're seeking. This demonstrates your seriousness and your authenticity. Like today, life is just not about working, it's about networking and the resources that you have. The problem is not that we don't have resources. The problem is we are not resourceful, and that's why people don't be successful. One thing which is very great about both of us, especially me, I'm a very resourceful guy. So wherever, whatever I need, I use my resources. So believe me, you all have resources that are available. Go there, tap those resources, make the most out of it. And of course, finally, interview readiness. It is important. Because it's been a gap, even if it's a 1-year gap or a 5-year gap or a 10-year gap, you need to prepare for interview while you're actively applying for job opportunity. You can't say, "Arey, interview aega to dekh lenge." No, it doesn't happen. When you're applying for a job, you need to prepare for them, because you can be called for an interview any moment.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then you say, "Oh my God!" And then one opportunity you got, then one chance you got, you lost it because you did not prepare yourself. So these are the
steps that you can take. But to remember all of this, there are two important things that you need to, rather three things that you need to really, really be vigilant, aware, and take care. One, employment gaps are not a taboo.
Yes.
In fact, especially during this COVID times, I see so many people for their mental health took a break because they couldn't deal with everything at one given time.
True.
Work from home, children demanding, no boundary lines to work, everyone is working 24 hours. So there are people who have taken those gaps. Today, it's become very accepted in the modern job market. So employment gaps are not at all a taboo from COVID times, especially. It's really accepted.
So let me tell you the employer perspective. The employer perspective just sees how can this employee fit into the role and the team and can contribute. If you're able to prove that I fit to this role, I'm fit in this team, and I can contribute. So that's the second key takeaway, that see that you're fitting and you're contributing.
And third, of course, is confidence and authenticity. Being confident and truthful will significantly enhance your chances of securing a job. So what I started in the beginning, own your decision. There is nothing to feel embarrassed or ashamed. Go there, own it. They're only interested in your future, not in the break that you have taken. If you have utilized that to better yourself, it's wonderful. You can go there and say, this is what I have learned during this break period of mine. But from here on, I want to go and give my best. And believe me, every employer is seeking such an employee who's hungry, who's driven, who's passionate to work. That will enhance your jobs.
So, at the end, by following these steps, you can effectively explain employment gaps to potential employer and successfully re-enter in the corporate world.
And why I say this? Because we have done this with people who have come here and they've got coached and they're really happy in the roles that they have gone back to with the salaries that they're doing, and they've really delivered so much. So entry is important, but look at your future vision. And believe me, you will forget that you had a gap some point of time in your career.
Yep.
You can still achieve your dreams.
So true. So once again, thank you very much, all of you, for coming here, and see you again on next Friday on How to Ace Your Career.